Good morning, and welcome to another episode of A Conversation with Father Orsi. I'm Action for Life President B.C. Cloutier, and this is Father Michael Orsi. Hello, Father.
Hello, my friend. What up?
Lovely day today. But we're going to talk about a very serious subject. Disinformation.
It used to be called lying.
Yeah, well, and then social media came along, and so I'm going to give you a couple of examples of just craziness that exists and how dangerous this is in an election year. I think, at least. There's a website called DC Weekly, masquerading as a U.S. media organization. Only it's controlled by Russia.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, you could be sure you're going to get the truth.
Well, recently they published that Zelensky, the president of the Ukraine, was diverting U.S. aid and had bought 2 super yachts.
And they're docked in Brooklyn, I heard. Red Hook.
Right, yeah. Now, here's what's scary about this, okay? A lot of people obviously would believe that. But J.D. Vance and Marjorie Taylor Greene, 2 United States senators, actually parroted that disinformation in the Senate, on the floor, okay? Even they believed it.
No, I mean, we see, don't they have like fact checkers that's supposed to look at this stuff?
One would hope. I mean, they have plenty of staff.
I mean, I know, whenever I do this show, we have a whole bunch of fact checkers.
Yeah, most of them calling us after the fact saying, you guys. Here's another one. There was this thing posted on Twitter, on X, that a large number of people in Arizona, Pennsylvania, and Texas had registered to vote without an ID, suggesting they could be illegal aliens. Right? So Arizona and Texas quickly said, nope, not true, not happening. But Marjorie Taylor Greene and Donald Trump and Elon Musk, the 3 of them retweeted that story. And at last count, there was 64 million views. That's 64 million people who think that that is true.
Sure.
When it's not true.
Yeah.
Jamie Dimon, president, CEO actually of Chase Bank, thinks the solution is, and I wholeheartedly endorse this, Jamie says the key is to force people to verify their identity with a trusted third source. You know, a lot of times online you have to verify your identity to get a credit card or whatever. Right. He thinks that social media, that should occur in social media. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's so much bad information out there. Sometimes, you know, it might not even be that somebody is on purpose putting out bad information. They just think it's true. So you just say J.D. Vance and Marjorie Taylor Greene and President Trump, they retweeted it.
That happens every day. I mean, I've certainly done that, and I don't know that everything that I retweet is the truth.
Right.
I see something and say, I can't believe this is happening, and I retweet it. These things feed on themselves.
They do. They do. So, you know, especially if you have a certain proclivity toward a certain person, or, you know, you have an animus toward a certain person, and you like that word, don't you? And, you know, there's something out there that's going to, verify your feelings. You press the button, and all of a sudden it's all over the place. You have 64 million people believing that Zelensky has 2 yachts docked in Red Hook in Brooklyn. Red Hook's making a comeback, folks. It really turned into a pretty nice place. Queen Mary was docked there for a while.
Now, let me tell you the rub about all this. And this is, it's hard to believe. Really, you can't make this stuff up. 56% of the, Ipsos, you know that I love Ipsos. It's a worldwide survey company. 56% of the people that were surveyed by Ipsos say social media is their primary or secondary source of news. Wait, the same people consider social media the second most untrustworthy news source. You can't make this up, Father.
You can't. We're at the point that we don't know fact from lies. We don't know it. And therefore, whenever we have that temptation to retweet or re-X. Is that what we have today?
I don't know what they're doing now. I think it's still retweet, even though the site is X, which is a little, never mind.
Or pass on. You know, there are a lot of conspiracy theories out there too.
Oh, yeah.
They go all over the place. It might be wise to try to do a little bit of research to find out if it's true. When I was in graduate school, of course, we had to do a dissertation, and when we were done, we go to what we call a university reader, and that was to make sure that everything you said was backed up. You know, you had your footnotes.
Yep.
And that you weren't creating your own reality. Now, today with postmodernism in the universities, I can't say that that's happening, but we also have people who are in very high places at universities, university presidents, who plagiarized, and they steal things from other people. And again, that's lying. And so at the root of all this, lying is at the point where it is endemic to our society, and lying is destructive to anything. It's destructive to one-on-one relationships. It's destructive to a relationship in any business organization, and it's destructive to a country. It's destructive to the world. One lie leads to another lie, and all of a sudden you have this house of cards, and it eventually it will crumble. Now you remember, with the Russian dossier on Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, look what that did. I mean, not only was it meant to destroy a person who didn't do what it said he did, but also when they were dealing with that Russian dossier, it undermined an election. It had the ability to undermine an election, and it cost the government millions of dollars to uncover the truth. If we've gone to the truth yet, I don't know.
And cost the government a lot of credibility.
Of course.
These were people who allegedly know these things,
Yeah.
right? They were CIA, high-placed security people that certified this dossier was real.
Right.
And any fool could have spent 15 minutes on the internet and known it wasn't.
Right.
It didn't jihad, if you will.
Yeah. We talked about the importance of telling the truth. It's one of those virtues that we've begun to lose in our society today. People, as I said, they create their own truths, or they think truth isn't important, or they believe that you can lie to get where you think we should be. In other words, your vision is so fantastic of what America should be that you can lie to get what you want. And the politicians, unfortunately, oftentimes fall into lying. And, we have one especially that creates his own reality insofar as what he's done and what he hasn't done. And it undermines the credibility of a person in high office. I didn't say any names.
You know what's funny about that? I mean, really funny that in this day and age, virtually any claim can be verified with a few keystrokes. And you can search for different sources, and if you see 4 or 5 credible sources saying the same thing, then it's likely true. This person we're talking about, who shall remain nameless, says things that could be verified in 15 seconds, and he says them with a straight face, like, "Oh yes, I drove an 18-wheeler, and I was the top of my law school class." Yada yada yada. Can we take a break? We'll be right back. But for the moment, I'd like to talk to you about the expense of airing this program. Many people don't realize how expensive it is to produce this program and to get it on the air. Would you care to guess? It's about $3,000 per week. We think that's a reasonable expenditure, but obviously it's an expensive one. So we need to ask for your help. If you'll go to actionforlife.org and click on the donate button, it would be greatly appreciated. Now, you can donate once or you can donate each month, and we certainly have viewers who do both. We appreciate that. Please take time now to visit actionforlife.org and click on the donate button. Thank you so much for your support. And may God bless you always. Welcome back to A Conversation with Father Orsi. I'm B.C. Cloutier. Before the break, we were talking about lying.
Right.
And it occurred to me, Father, that lying has become an art form. There are so many excuses for lying. Defense attorneys, well, it's a lie, but I was doing my best to defend my client, and I'm obligated to do so. That's acceptable. It's acceptable for politicians from both sides of the aisle and everybody in between to lie. Just flat out lie, not obfuscate, not puffery, just flat out lies. It's terrible.
It is, as I said earlier, lying undermines society, undermines relationships, it undermines business dealings. A few programs back, we talked about the importance of knowing something about America and American values in order for us to have a united country. And I'm sure you learned in school, as I did, George Washington, father of our country, he never told a lie. And remember the old story about cutting down the cherry tree?
Which apparently the cherry tree thing wasn't true, right?
It wasn't true, but it was part of the, we call it hagiographical history. It's kind of like, this is something to help you to understand the type of person that George Washington was. It wasn't an exact fact about, the cherry tree, but that at least he wanted to be portrayed as an honorable and a truthful man, and that this was one of the virtues necessary for a good republic. Because, without Washington, there's no America. Let's leave it right there. You would not have the United States of America today without George Washington. And, obviously, that story was circulated, hagiography, we call it, but because we wanted the message to get out to Americans that you have to tell the truth. And that's an honorable thing to do, to tell the truth. But it's being lost today in our society, not just with X, but, if we talked about, in the political area, politicians, there's one lie after the other lie, and there's no reason for it. It can be verified, as you said. It can be verified what's true and what's false. But they also have to be called to task. Where is the... Let's talk about the mainstream media. Where is the mainstream media? Where are they saying, hey, that's a lie? Remember,
right.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Right.
You got to be able to call them out. That's wrong. You can't say that.
The point of journalism was to fact check everything and call people out when there was a different point of view.
Right.
Now, a lot of journalism is so slanted in both directions that it's hard to get a read on what's really going on. I mean, if you use the extremes, if you go to the CNN website and then you go to the Fox News website and you read the same story, it doesn't even feel like the same story.
Yeah.
Because of the two slants.
I mean, you could go to any cable network They're divided between red and blue, but some are just, well, they're just not in reality either. And I won't say which one it is.
Well, I mean, part of the problem is, and I'm sure Ted Turner never envisioned this when he created what was originally headline news.
Right.
There is no news today.
No, it's all
right?
opinion.
Elon Musk is right. For breaking news, the best source is X, because the people find out about it and they begin to tweet it or X it or whatever it is, right? So if you watch the evening news, whether it's local at 6 or network at 6:30, the networks, I've noticed this just recently, every broadcast leads with the weather. There's tornadoes in the Midwest. Well, there was tornadoes.
Global warming.
There was tornadoes when Dorothy and Toto were running around.
Global warming.
And the same with the local news. What is news? There's not a lot of news per se.
No, you have opinion. You read a newspaper. This morning I usually read, I try to read 3 or 4 newspapers a day. And I'm still, folks, I know it's all online, but old Father O likes to hold the paper and then circle stuff in the paper.
Aha.
All right. You're getting this is politically correct stuff. Then you read the Wall Street Journal, and you're saying, well, this is that's not bad. It's at least try to be moderated, and
I think they're pretty good.
I think they're pretty good, And then, of course, you get the Naples Daily News. Well, I'm sorry, folks. It's good for coupons, but it's put out by USA Today, and once again, you have. If you have any stories in there that you're interested in, again, they're very, very slanted and limited. Now, if you want the real truth, get the New York Post. There's a great sports section in there.
The Post is compelling reading. I'm sure it isn't for liberals.
Yeah.
But they just, there's a lot of art to their headlines and the breadth of stories. Page 6.
Oh, we like Page 6.
If you like all that celebrity stuff, it's a fun newspaper. It really is.
It is, and quite honestly, folks, there's some really good not headlines. The headlines are hilarious sometimes.
But the reporting is very good.
The reporting is good, but also the op-eds, commentaries, they're very, very good. So
they publish you periodically, don't they?
No more. No, I never made it. Well, I did once make it in the New York Post once.
You've been on the Wall Street Journal
Wall
many
Street
times.
Journal, they used to like me.
Let's take a break. We'll be back after this.
Hi, folks. Over the weeks, you have become more and more familiar with our program, Conversations with Father Orsi. I know that you are enjoying the programs because you tell me that you do. I want you to be sure that you should never worry about missing an episode because you can go to actionforlife.org and catch all of the episodes that we have produced over the last year. Now, also, extra added bonus, you can watch my homilies, my weekly homilies about the Sunday readings. That's also on actionforlife.org. Lastly, both of these adventures, conversations and the homilies, they cost money. And I'm going to have to ask you if you can help us out because so many of you tell me how much you enjoy the program. Some people tell me our Sunday wouldn't be the same. We record the program, we watch them during the week. This is an expensive enterprise, and we think it's an important way to get out the gospel message and to talk about those issues of the day that are important to us as Christians. So please go to your website, actionforlife.org. There is a button you can click for donations, and please be generous to us to keep this show on the air. Your Sundays will not be the same.
Glenn Beck is coming to Naples on October 30th. This is your once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get up close and personal with renowned author, broadcaster, and political commentator Glenn Beck. Enjoy elegance, education, and enlightenment as Glenn Beck and Father Michael Orsi engage in a highly anticipated dialogue on stage at the beautiful Naples Grand Beach Resort. Get tickets today with an early bird discount at actionforlife.org/events. Welcome back to A Conversation with Father Orsi. I'm B.C. Cloutier. Father, we're talking about disinformation, a lot of it coming from Russia and China. A couple of notes here. One is that Meta, the parent of Facebook, took down 5 Chinese networks recently. One of them, just one of them, had 4,800 Facebook accounts. And they were purporting to be individuals, including Jim Jordan and Nancy Pelosi. So now you have Facebook accounts that people think are the politician, and in this case, 2 very prominent politicians, and they're spewing stuff that's just made up of whole cloth. It's crazy. I had to go to the Bible for this. You know, what does the Bible say about disinformation? Well, it doesn't say a lot because, right, social media didn't exist.
Right.
But
what about bearing false witness against your neighbor? I mean,
there's one.
That's about lying.
I found another quote that I thought was appropriate. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 21 and 22. But test everything. Hold fast to what is good and abstain from every form of evil. But test everything. That says a lot.
It does.
3 words.
It means that you have to do your research. You have to be able to look beneath the story and say, does this story have any legs, number one? Is this story true?
Does it sound true?
Does it sound true?
You know, some of the stuff, if you go on YouTube, there's all kinds of conspiracy stuff on YouTube. It's insane. But a lot of it, it doesn't even ring true.
No.
I mean, you say to people, I saw on you, people say to you, I saw on YouTube. It's like if you watch these things, you say, this person is a whack job.
Yeah, I mean, you don't believe in UFOs?
Not really.
Oh, come on now. They've landed on Staten Island.
Let's digress for a second. My stepfather was a U.S. Air Force pilot for 26 years. He did tell me once that he saw something that could not be explained. They radioed it in. They were in a formation, so there was more crew than just a couple of people. And he said, I don't really know what it was, but it could be that it was a UFO. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying impossible, but I'm saying, well, needs a little more research before you put it out there and say that, you saw some illegal aliens from outer space, in your backyard.
This year is more.
Well, if they're from outer space, are they illegal?
Good question.
All right, now we can ponder something. Let's do your research here. If they're from outer space, are they illegal aliens?
I mean, they're not crossing the border per se, right? They're coming through the atmosphere. I don't know. That could keep Congress tied up for a while.
We'll have to discuss that, yeah.
Well, I don't know. Disinformation, I think you just have to do a lot of research these days.
You do.
And ask a lot of questions. When I was in the broadcasting business, I didn't know a lot about electrical engineering. And, I'd have an engineer come in and say, BC, we got to do this. This is going to cost $35,000. What I learned early in my career was I would ask the same question of 3 or 4 engineers and say, what do you think about that? Right. Now, if all 4 of them, or at least 3 of the 4 came back to me and said, here's what you need to do, then I knew I was on the right track and that it was something we had to do. Often it wasn't. And the general public can relate to this with auto repairs. You bring your car in, the guy's, transmission is shot, you're going to have to replace it. You take it to another place and they say, well, you need to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well,
I know I'm off on a tangent.
No,
Sorry.
That's fine. But you collect enough data, Like you said, go to a couple of people, just like you go to a doctor. One doctor says you need a brain surgery, the other doctor says you don't need a brain surgery. You get a second opinion. Try to read up, try to see both sides of the story. But it requires that you have developed some reasoning skills.
Right.
And reason means that let me take a look at this and see if this is reasonable. Would the reasonable person say, at least this is in the realm of possibility? And, we go back to the whole fake news thing. There was somebody, Donald Trump wasn't wrong on that. There's a lot of fake news out there. And unfortunately, it was just a lot of it was being dumped on him, fake news. And you had American people then become, first of all, confused.
Yep.
They become angry. And they become more and more divided. And that's one of the evils of lying. And so the media has to be held responsible. Research your stories. Don't think you just make it up and then say, well, I did my job as a journalist. You're not a journalist. You're a propaganda person,
right.
Propagandist. All right? So listen, folks, there's a lot of fake news out there. A lot of it is just downright lying. A lot of it is just politically motivated. A lot of it is just trying to play into the imaginations of people who want to be tantalized. That word, tantalized.
Yep.
Yeah. Who want to be involved in some kind of scary theory.
It's for a lot of people, it's amusement.
Yeah, it's amusement. But then they fall for it, and they're living in the world of make-believe. And you can't have a good life if you're living out the world of make-believe. And we've seen that too many times. This is not, this is not Never Land, where you want to be like Peter Pan and stay a child the rest of your life. If you're an adult, think like an adult, act like an adult. Be a moral person, tell the truth. And, and this is for, a whole bunch of people in the media and even people who are not involved in the media. You must not lie. It is an offense against Almighty God, and it's an offense against society. And if we want to know why we are in the mess that we are in today, it's because a lot of people see nothing wrong with lying, and a lot of people don't take the time to uncover what the truth really is.
Wise words from our friend, Father Michael Orsi. Let me also say that Father Orsi and Glenn Beck will be on stage together at the Naples Grand Beach Resort on October 30th. If you haven't gotten tickets, they're still available at actionforlife.org/events. That's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Please be here again next week, same time, same place. Until then, I'm BC Cloutier. Thank you for joining us. Have a great week, and God bless.